SMT Nation, we back. Nation, there's something that's brewing kind of, I guess we'll say it's more of a simmer, but I think it's important to discuss it because this could potentially be something of a major network boost for operators like Verizon, AT&T, and even T-Mobile if they get involved. Let's talk about that here in today's video. It's going to be a C-band topic and a merger potential between SES and Intelsat. Let's talk about it. Link for the article, this placeholder article from Dan Mayer on Verizon and C-band, about a year old or so. You guys can kind of see what's been going on with C-band. So link in the description. Ways to support us can be found there as well. Please do like and share this video. Subscribe if you're new here, and turn on the bell notifications icon so you never miss an upload from the SMT. All right, folks. So according to analysts, there is a $3.1 billion proposed merger between two satellite operators. They are Intelsat and SES. And this merger, you're looking at a consolidation in the marketplace in that industry. I don't think it's much of a problem in respect of that concept. But T-Mobile and Verizon and AT&T are most definitely going to be watching this merger very closely because it could potentially free up additional bandwidth in the C-band frequency range. So for those of you that remember, the C-band frequency range had a really, really big auction a few years ago that generated somewhere of almost $100 billion. It was like over $10 billion in clearing costs and early repacking, and then $81 billion for the actual spectrum. Verizon, in and of itself, paid half of those costs, $45 billion, right? And they secured a national average of 160 megahertz of bandwidth. Some markets, they have 140. Some markets, they have 180 or 200, but mostly 160, right? And a potential merger between these two satellite companies could lead to a relocation of assets and could potentially free up some C-band bandwidth from that merger. And SES and Intelsat, as the merged company, could sell up to 100 megahertz of C-band through that merger. So that would mean if this 100 megahertz of bandwidth came, I don't know if it would go up as an auction. I don't know if it would just go up for sale to the highest bidder, or the highest, willing to pay for it, whatever. This would be huge. Because I want to give you guys some perspective on this. This is how you should look at it. I'm speculating, but I think Verizon would be all in on this, and they would move heaven and earth to secure as much of this as possible. At the very least, I think Verizon would want at least 40 megahertz of this 100, right? That would leave 60 between AT&T and T-Mobile, and I think AT&T would move very quickly to get a majority of the rest of it. I think T-Mobile's the odd man looking on the outside, but you never know. They might bring the money bags and they might want to get it. But it makes more sense for Verizon and AT&T because they already have radios deployed on a large scale, right? They're both, 225, 250 million pops covered. Those radios would just need retuning. They'd get the additional bandwidth, right? So it makes a lot of sense, right? You would just pay for the licenses and boom, your radio's tuned, retuned, and you're golden. No other investment. See, so it's got that value play to it. And I just don't think, AT&T would let this opportunity slide. They kind of trail in the mid-band bandwidth. They only have 120 megahertz of combined N77, right? They got 80 megahertz of C-band and then 40 megahertz of DoD on average national. Puts them at 120. Verizon's 160. They could kind of shore up their holdings, so that would make a lot of sense. And then I guess if they couldn't secure all of it, T-Mobile can get involved. I think it makes a lot of sense. But again, this is speculative. First of all, these companies would have to successfully merge. Second of all, when and if they free up that spectrum, they still want to operate TV, I'm assuming. There's still some people using satellite for TV, which is what that C-band was used for all these years. When and if that becomes freed up, they could monetize it, right? But believe you me, Verizon is really looking at this very aggressively. I think AT&T as well, and T-Mobile is always in play for spectrum. So we're going to watch this and monitor this very closely. This could be huge for the industry because, you already got radio gear up for it. It's instant bandwidth, instant capacity, and we know how bad these networks need it. They're doing mobile services. They're doing fixed wireless access, 5G home internet. They need it. So we'll see how this all plays out. We'll continue to track it and we'll see what happens. Stay tuned to the SMT for more videos on this topic and others. But comment down below and let me know what you guys think of all this. You're all the voice of the people, the SMT Nation. Let your voice be heard.